Welcome to our One World Energy Encounter with the Zohar. This week's portion is Chayei Sarah, which means the life of Sarah. And we are at verse 100 in our volume 4, the portion of Chayei Sarah. Let's invite in the lineage of the Rav and Karen and Michael, Rabbi Shalag, Rav Brandwein, the Ariya Kodesh, the Ramchal, Rabbi Tarfon, Rav Menzulai, Rav Menachem Mendel Levatepsk, Rav Kolon Shapir Piasetz, the Baal Shem Tov, Rav Mordechai of Chernobyl, One Soul with Joseph the Righteous, Yosef at Tzaddik in Shechem. Today is the 26th of Cheshvan, month of Scorpio. So the new moon is coming up on Monday night. And it's a one-day new moon this month. Anyhow, so we are wrapping up this energy of Scorpio. It's definitely an intense month and intense energy, and it's been an intense month all over the world. So, from wherever we are, we want to send out to the world energy of removal of negativity, of protection from negativity, of neutralizing the conflict in Israel, of the release of all the hostages being held. Let's also send an energy of ahavat chinam, unconditional love, treating everyone in the world with human decency, and also energy of healing for everyone we know who needs healing. Of course, all those impacted by the conflict who need healing, and also energy of elevation and comfort for those souls that are transitioning, those that we know, and of course those around the world, and of course those in Israel also. Anyone want to volunteer to read English for us today? Thanks, Maria. Okay, verse 100. So this section is called the Cave of the Machpelah, part 2. There was a part 1. I think we may have done that last year. So today we're doing part 2. And the reason that this is so significant is because the cave is still there. I mean, hundreds of thousands visit that cave every year. It's not like, this is not a historical study. I mean, there is history here, but we're going to the seed level of the cave. Like, how did it come to be that Adam and Eve and the patriarchs and matriarchs are buried in that cave? And what relevance does it have to our life? And more specifically, what relevance does it have to our life today? So we read in the Aramaic, verse 100. By the way, 100 is significant because we know the tree of life, as we understand it, there are 10 levels, 10 sfirot, 10 parallel aspects of the energy of the creator that find their way into our realm. And we also know that each one of those 10 has 10. So 100 is a connection to the entire reality, the physical realm that we occupy and the upper realm. And that's significant because the story of the life of Sarah starts off with talking about she lived 120 years, but it expresses it in a very unique way. And there's another Zohar section that talks about that. When it describes Sarah's life, it says she lived in 127, but it says additionally, she lived 100 year, 20 year, and 7 years. So there's a question that's asked, like, why is it 100 year? Why wouldn't it be 100 years? It's 100 years, not 100 year. And why would it be 20 year and not 20 years? And then why is the 7 the one that's plural? So the Zohar points out, it's something to really think about, is we live in a unified world. That 100 connects us to Keter. That's the highest level of our reality that we can begin. Our conception of reality actually ends at Keter. Everything beyond that we can't even conceive of. And so that's what the 100 connects to. And the 20 connects to both Chokhmah and Binah. So the next 2 levels, each having 10 sfirot within them. And the last is the 7, our realm of Malchut and the realm of Zeir Anpin, the 6 sfirot above us. So the teaching is that we all have a connection through those, but Sarah had a super connection. And that's why the Torah goes out of its way to explain to us the number of years that she lived. It's paradoxical that it's the portion in which she passes, but it's called Chayei Sarah, the life of Sarah. So with that, we dive in to the Zohar at verse 100. Rabbi Elazar Amar, B'shata da'al Avraham b'ma'arta hech al, begin dahavat rahit avat rei, dahu egla, dichtiv el habakar ratz Avraham, v'gomer, vahu ben bakar, arak al hahu me'arta, ve'al lavatre, v'chamama, v'chama. Maria?
Rabbi Elazar asked, how did Abraham enter the cave? Why did he enter?
Okay, so the question is, Abraham discovers this cave. He's out in the field tending to his flock. Why does he go into the cave? Is he running from something? Is he running towards something? And just understand that it seems like a basic question, but it's also about our spiritual journey. When are we going to things? When are we going away from things? How do we end up where we are? And so for us, as the Zohar talks about why Abraham did things, what was the context in which he did things that we're about to connect to, we also need to think about our own life journey. Because we get the power to have additional insight into the things that are going on in our life. Just like Abraham had the power to see the significance of things going on in his life. Although he was Abraham, so he was an incredible, incredible channel for mercy. And so we just want to be able to connect to that, the ability to see more significance in the things that are going on in our life. Remember, it's like an old, saying, things don't happen to us, things happen for us. Okay, keep going.
He responded, he was running after a calf, about which it is written, and Abraham ran to the herd. This calf ran to the cave. Abraham ran after it and saw what he saw.
Okay, so on the surface, it's just like some random calf from his flock, running away. So he just went to catch the calf, right? I mean, it was his flock. So like one of them, one's an outlier. He's got to bring him back to the rest of the herd. Simple. Well, just so we're clear, the calf didn't run away for any other reason other than to draw Abraham into the cave. All right, that sounds like how Pollyannish can I get? Really, David? That's why the calf ran? Yeah, that's why the calf ran. That's who told the calf where to go. I mean, the light's in control of everything. The light brought that calf into the cave, giving Abraham the opportunity to go into the cave. And this is happening to us all the time. Little cues, little events, little situations guiding us on our journey. We don't see it that way, but we need to take a step back and start and look at it from that perspective, because then our perspective on everything changes. And also these reactive emotional states, the ways we get triggered. Why am I getting triggered? Obviously, I was supposed to do this. Imagine pick any mistake you made in the past 36 hours. They're all the same. You didn't make a mistake. The Creator pushed you into it to help you on your journey. It didn't happen to you. It happened for you. Okay, let's continue. 101. To begin to ihu tzale kol yoma v'yoma v'hava nafek ad hahu hakam da'hava salik rechin ilain v'chamanahora denafek migoy me'arta v'tzale taman v'taman malel ime kuchabrichu v'v'gin kach ba'ale dete uvte hava behahu atar tadir.
Another reason was that Abraham prayed every day.
Okay, so you mean he just took out a prayer book and just kind of ran through the prayers? Like he didn't have what prayer book? Was it our prayer book? Listen, newsflash, for those of us like who are really tied into like Jewish practices, I know people say that Abraham was the first Jew, but he wasn't. And I know how controversial that sounds. He wasn't. He was the father of three religions. And he stood for monotheism, which is I don't even know if that's even accurate. He realized that everything's connected. That's the power of connecting to Abraham among the gifts we get in connecting to Abraham. He realized that everyone and everything is connected. So he knew that calf was happening for a reason. It's just, I mean, look, you're a shepherd. Calves run off, I guess. I've never shepherded. But everything is happening for a reason. He knew that because he knew everything was connected. And we have the opportunity to see that connection also. And by the way, and I say that Abraham was not the first Jew. I mean, I'm saying like it's the children of Israel haven't been born yet. The children of Israel are Jacob's children. Jacob is Israel. That's the children of Israel. Abraham's like upstream, very significantly upstream. But when he opens the channel of mercy, it's for the whole world. It's not a selective opening the channel of mercy. It's the whole world. And so everything he does is significant for the world because of who he was. And by that, I mean what kind of channel he was. He was an individual, but most importantly, he was a channel for chesed, for mercy, and changed the world, opening up that channel to a level that wasn't available before. And now is still available now. So when we see Abraham, we are connecting to mercy, the energy of mercy in our world. Okay. So what does it mean when he prayed? Well, he was a big morning guy. Like he prayed in the morning. And so Shacharit, our morning prayers, connect to also the energy of mercy, the energy that Abraham opened up. So this verse about Abraham praying every day, this is our connecting to the energy of chesed, of mercy. And what does it mean that he prayed every day? Did he have again, he didn't have a prayer book. So this is like some level of meditation, some level of stopping in his morning to acknowledge, I see a fragmented world, but I know that's an illusion. So he's grounding himself. And we too need to ground ourselves away from the illusion of chaos in the world and ground ourselves in the world, knowing everything that is happening for us. Everything we experience is happening for us, but we lose sight of that because we get wrapped up in what's going on. And so the power of taking a break and consciously focusing on the deeper reality, that's what Abraham does every morning. And that's what we need to do, is find ways to ground ourselves in that deeper reality. Okay. Keep going.
He came out to the field that was fragrant with the heavenly perfumes, so light coming out of the cave, and entered there to pray.
Okay. I'm not sure about the sequence here. Was this before or after the calf event? Can we tell from this? We really can't. But he prayed every day. He went out to that field and he could smell, it says heavenly perfumes. Now, fragrant, now that's like, oh my God, this smells heavenly. It's just like an adjective. It's a heavenly, no, he knew it was the Garden of Eden. He's like, that smell, that's so unique. He knew it was the scent of the Garden of Eden. I wonder what that smells like. Must be pretty awesome. No, but he was able, because to use his perceptual abilities to know that that's what was available there. So he picks up that scent, and he sees a light coming out of the cave, and he decides I'm going to go into there and pray. Go ahead.
There, the Holy One, blessed be he, spoke to him. As a result, Abraham wanted the cave and always harbored a desire for it.
So he didn't have a desire for the cave until he went there and the Creator spoke with him. I mean, seriously, if you went somewhere and the Creator spoke to you, you would want to connect to that place too. So it's just a random cave in a field that he was going out to every day. But once he goes in the cave, he smells the heavenly scent, he sees a light, he goes into the cave, and then because the Creator talks to him, somehow communicates with him, somehow identifies himself, some kind of super metaphysical connection. He's like, this is a special place. This is some type of energy vortex here. Maria, do you have a question?
Yeah, you just answered at the end. As we were reading this and the connection that Abraham is having, right, with the Heavenly Father, right?
Right.
It's just kind of, this paragraph gave me the belief, like, this is, that great scent and the light coming out and that urge for him to come in and pray. It's just like, give me the power. How powerful it is when we connect with the Creator, right? To give us that, the praying is just like put us into that beautiful state that really the Creator manifesting us in different ways.
Absolutely. And we can do that from wherever we are, but there are definitely places that it's more special. And this is one of the most special places in the world.
Yeah.
Now you can go there today, and depending on what kind of consciousness you have, connect to that. I mean, we still go. We don't so much go in the cave. It's actually a building built above the cave, but the energy is there. So it's fascinating when you think about it. We're reading a 2,000-year-old document, which is sharing with us this story about how Abraham found it, and it's still there today. I think also that we all, and we've talked about this, we all have the ability to perceive the energy in our physical environment. The problem is that we probably, to a greater or lesser extent, we kind of hit the mute button on that, like feeling what's going on. Like the energy, like, well, you walk into a room, where are you feeling that energy? Well, having a little bit of body consciousness about what you're feeling is really important, because that's our barometer on the energy in a room. Like, what are we feeling? And we need to check in with ourselves about what we're feeling in all circumstances. Even like getting a new apartment, getting a new house. I mean, feel what's going on there. Because it's very telling about what energy, what that space is infused with. So, I mean, if we stumbled into the cave the way Abraham did, would we perceive it in the same way? So I don't know. I mean, Abraham's perceptual abilities were probably much more advanced. But we have the ability, certainly in our own lives, to check in with ourselves and feel what we're going to feel. And
I hope if I get that opportunity, I experience that, since the Creator brought me there, right?
Well, right, but we're showing up at places right now. Do we realize the Creator brought us there?
I think I would know.
I'm saying, like, right now, like your apartment, your office space, the Creator brought you there for a reason. The Creator brought Abraham there for a reason, which is going to unfold. But every space that we occupy, we're there for a reason. And so the challenge is to kind of take a step back and just be present to that. But also the places that we visit, like, what am I feeling here? And the same thing, the people that I encounter, what am I feeling when I encounter people? It's you're physical body is feeling the energy, and we need to create a space for that energy. We need to check in with it. Okay. 102. The tema ihachi amai la ba'ala ad hashta. Begin de la ishkechun ale ho'il v'la itzterich le hashta di itzterich le amar ha shata lemitba le.
You may ask, why did he not seek to buy it until then?
Yeah, why didn't he just buy it then? It's not like he didn't have the resources. He did. If he knew that was a holy place, if he knew that it emitted the scent of the Garden of Eden, if he knew that God actually told him, why don't you just go and buy it then? I mean, it's not even an impulse buy. Maybe it is an impulse buy. I don't know. Let's see. Keep going.
He says, because he had no need for it. He was afraid that they would check it, understand his wish and the importance of the cave, and then ask for more money.
Okay, so this is an example of Abraham applying the spiritual tool of restriction. By restricting, he of course could think about it, but by restricting, he also wasn't telegraphing to others, specifically those who owned it, what his feeling was about it, or what he was feeling there. So it's okay for us to check in with our feelings. It's not necessarily okay for us to share them. Those are our feelings. It's for our benefit. It's not for everybody's. That's at one level. And the next level is you can know something's for you, but like you don't want to smother the flame. You know, when we have an urge, we need to restrict, because that's actually what reveals light. He revealed more light by restricting and not buying it and not rushing in. And that's us going against human nature. Or human nature is, I spot the right piece of property. I mean, I'm going to do everything I can to get it. We don't think about restriction. But restriction gives us the ability to really assess, is it really what I want? What is the right time? I don't have to rush in. We have this, it's human nature to rush in. When we restrict, we're going against human nature. That's what reveals light. And so there's tremendous light in this paragraph right here, because it's an example of Abraham's restriction. And empowers us also to have a consciousness of a restriction and applying it where appropriate. Okay, keep going.
Or they could refuse to sell it altogether. Now that he needed it, the time had come to ask for it.
Okay, so his ability to restrict also, it's a paradox. By not buying it, I have a greater likelihood of getting it. We don't think that way. We think it's limited. We think we need to rush in. How many times do we rush into things and it turns out to not really be the thing? I ended up buying one piece of property and now I don't have enough money to buy the one I really want. Had I just restricted, I would have seen a deeper reality. And it's not just property. It could be a sweater. I mean, it could be anything. Any situation we rush in to capitalize on it. And so we want to restrict because it gives us the ability to more fully see a truer picture emerging, to give opportunity for things to come into focus. It's an illusion, it's an illusory reality. It's an illusion. So things show up and it's not real. And by restricting, we give time for things to come into clearer focus. So that's part of the power that we're getting here, is this ability to gain greater focus and awareness of what's going on around us and what directions we need to move in. It's strengthening our perceptual abilities and understanding that by pushing something away, that's the first step in actually connecting with it. Really? Yes. You got to push it away. And what it does is it strengthens your desire. It's deferred gratification. It's not deferred gratification. What's the term I'm thinking about? It's the opposite of immediate gratification. By putting off by deferring gratification, I'm revealing light and increasing my desire
Think of
and
it like,
expanding my vessel. What?
how about thinking of it like interest on your money, right? You made an investment, you didn't pull it out, so you got more when you really chose to actualize it.
I mean, we can think of a lot of examples of where we restrict immediate gratification. Okay, but I need to do it now because I'm afraid I'm going to lose it. We have, if it's ours, it's going to come to us. If it's meant to be, it's going to happen. Okay. But now the time had come and he needed to come ask for it. Why? Because that's the story. Sarah had elevated and he needed a place to bury her body. That's why it was different. So how did he know? How did he really know that that's where she should be buried? So again, this is his sense for the deeper reality and the way things are supposed to play out. He knew. 103. Tachaze I Ephron havachame ben Arta ma havachame Abraham ba la Yasbin la almin ilavadai la chamava below klum dehad leit mila itgalya ela lamare beginkach la Abraham itgalya v'la la Ephron la Abraham itgalya dele hava la Ephron la havat itgalya le de la hava le chulaka be beginkach La itgale le'efron klum v'la havachame ele choshocha v'alda yabin la.
Come and behold, if Ephron has seen in the cave what Abraham saw, he would never have sold it.
Ephron owned the cave. Had he seen all this, he wouldn't have sold it. He was perceiving it of limited value. Because he didn't perceive. It's not even that he didn't, I mean, we're thinking saw. Does that mean he never went, like no calf ran into the cave for him? So he didn't get inside, didn't see it? I mean, he could have been looking right at it and he wouldn't have seen it. He didn't see, he lacked the perceptual abilities. So this is a contrast here between what Abraham perceives and what Ephron perceives. They're looking at the same cave. Abraham perceives the light, the scent coming from the Garden of Eden. He perceives it's an incredibly valuable place. The owner, Ephron, he doesn't see any of it. It's not like he was living far away. Let's just assume he saw it, but he didn't see it. And so we see things too, and we lack the ability to appreciate what their value is. And as our teachers tell us, what you take for granted, you're going to lose. And Ephron loses this because he takes it for granted. It's not even he took it for granted; he doesn't see the true value. And so, for us, again, we want to heighten our perceptual abilities to see the true value in all the things that in our life and all the things that we are exposed to. So we spend our time and our energy in the right places. Okay. Keep going.
But because Ephron saw nothing in it, as nothing is revealed except to its owner, it was revealed to Abraham only and not to Ephron.
Wait a second. It as nothing is revealed except to its owner. But Abram hadn't bought it yet. This is, to me, this is like the whole purpose of studying this section. I mean, there's a lot. There's so much here, but this line is so powerful. Abram appreciated, but he didn't own it. So what does it mean as nothing is revealed except to its owner? It's an energetic ownership. He knew it was his. The fact that Ephron had title is secondary. And so when we see the true beauty in things in our life, we own them. They're destined to be ours. How do I know if that's for me or not? Well, what do you see there? If you just want to have it, that's not enough. Do you fully appreciate what it is? And it doesn't just extend to a piece of property. It can be relationships, it could be jobs, it could be all kinds of things, physical things also. Do I fully appreciate that piece of art? Or do I just want to have it because the artist is a famous guy? Okay, keep going.
It was revealed to Abraham because it was his and not Ephron's, for Ephron's have no share in it.
But he owned it. No, he had title to it. It wasn't his from a spiritual perspective. You know, we have an expression, you know, ownership is not, possession is 9/10 of the law. Okay, well, whatever. That other 1/10 is huge. So part of the lesson for us is the things that slip through our hands weren't meant to be ours anyhow. Yes, Ron.
There's a couple of things in that that came to mind. One is I don't know what culture it is, but if someone, like, let's say you had something and someone sees it and they're like, wow, that's a really beautiful whatever, they're like, oh, here, it's yours. They give it to you. I don't know which culture that is, but
It's fascinating.
I've experienced it. But then a couple of other things. I remember I took one of Eitan's classes, and he always asks, like, you know, like if he's like buying a sweater, right? And he asks, like, is this really mine? You know, does it belong to me? And I thought that was a really interesting practice. And then the last thing is, I don't know who said it, but I remember when, I don't know if it was in Karen's memoir or somewhere, but it said, like, you know, when they were buying the New York Center property, they were like, okay, let's, you know, like, let's go for it. It's available. And then she's like, no, let's wait until and see if it's, you know, it's really ours, I guess. Right. So I just thought that was really interesting.
Right, no, it's a perfect example of like restriction. Let's let it sink in. It's fascinating. But even when it comes to the sweater, right? You know, it reminds me of, I forgot the name of the writer and the book, but I think it's the art of tidying up. You familiar with the book? So what she says in the book is, do you know what book it is, Ron?
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like Marie Kondo.
It is. That's who it is.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah. So she says in the book, like, you know, let's say you're cleaning out your closet of clothes. Take everything out of the closet and then pick every garment up one at a time and say, and if you don't love it, get rid of it.
Yeah.
You're not going to wear it. So just get rid of it. Only keep the things that you love. Now, that's a fascinating way to go about tidying up, because we have extra things that we want to possess, but are we really going to wear them? We really need them.
But it's interesting is, like, you thank it too, right? Like, thank you for
right.
You know,
so that this is like energetically, you know, this when you pick something you love it, this is yours. You own it in a different way. Yes,
Does
Alan.
it bring you joy? That's
Okay.
the question she asked. Does it bring you joy? If it doesn't bring you joy, toss it.
Right. I
Mhm.
mean, really, you could say that about a lot of things.
Do what you love, the money will follow.
Right.
There's another book.
Right. Right. Fascinating. So we see it playing out in this way also. Keep going.
Therefore, Ephron saw nothing of the cave. He saw only darkness, and therefore he sold it.
He only saw darkness, so he was getting rid of darkness. That's ultimately what he was getting rid of. 104. Umad la tava Avraham bekadmeta, the Yasmin le zavin, the ha Avram la lo ka'amar, ela v'yitain li et marat hamechpala asher lo v'gomer, bekesef malay yitinena li v'gomer, v'iyu amar hasada natati lach, v'hama'ara asher bo l'chana titicha, nitaticha v'gomer. Begin the chol lahava ma'is ale de Ephron, de la yada mahi.
Moreover, he also sold him what Abraham did not ask him to sell, because Abraham said only that he may give me the cave of the Machpelah. For the full price he shall give it to me. And did not mention the field.
He didn't ask for the field, he just asked for the cave.
And Ephron said, the field I give you, and the cave that is in it, I give it you.
Right.
For Ephron knew not what it was, and found it all loathsome.
Loathsome. I mean, negative. He saw it as a negativity. He thought he was getting rid of negativity.
Even the field in which the cave was loathsome to him. Therefore, he sold the field too, although Abraham did not ask for it.
Right. 105. V'tachaze kad al Avraham bim'arta b'kadmeta chama tazan nahora v'it remei afra kame v'it galei le terrain kivrin. Adhachi istalak adam bidiokne v'chamalei la'Avraham v'chayech uvei yada Avraham the tamanhu zamin le'it kavara.
Come and behold, when Abraham entered the cave for the first time, he saw light. The dust was removed from before him, revealing two graves. Adam rose from his grave in his rightful form, saw Abraham, and laughed. By that, Abraham knew that he was destined to be buried there. Why did he laugh?
Why did he laugh?
Why did Adam laugh?
He's a cheerful guy. Why did he laugh? It's a great question. I mean, when you see that a deeper reality, it kind of tickles you, doesn't it? I mean, kind of, it's an odd emotion, but on the other hand, it's not at all. It's like seeing the connections, seeing the symmetry, connecting with joy. I mean, I think that's what he did. He was connecting with joy. Adam knows the significance of Abraham. So like, oh my God, there he is, for crying out loud. Let's close on that note because we're out of time. But for us, listen, we've connected to a deeper understanding of mindsets in terms of how we look at what goes on in our life in general and our journey, and specifically learn this concept of restriction and just delaying gratification so we more fully appreciate it and reveal more light. And then understanding that things that are destined to be ours will be ours if that's the destiny. If they're truly ours, we already own it, just like Abraham already owned the cave. And then ultimately, when Abraham walks in and Adam sees him, Adam's like, oh my God, he's got the cave, he's in the cave. And it's just like this tremendously overwhelming energy of positivity and joy that they're connecting to. This unconditional joy. So for us, we get to connect to that also.
Just to add, a little bit of the answer is on the next prayer.
Oh, it is. Oh, well, it's something for all of us to look at over this weekend. All right, everybody. Shabbat shalom. Love you all. Have a great Shabbat.
Shabbat
See you next
shalom.
week.
Bye, guys.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat.